Imagine a world that is just drowning in absolute chaos. Wars are spreading like wildfire across the globe. Economies are completely collapsing. And truth? Well, truth has become incredibly difficult to even recognize anymore. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are exploring one of the most fascinating and honestly terrifying prophecies in Islamic tradition, the global trial of Dajjal, often referred to as the greatest deceiver. We're going to use the source texts and historical narrations to unpack exactly who this figure is, how he operates, and why this specific narrative has captivated and warned millions of people for centuries. To really understand this prophecy, we first have to look at the environment that makes it all possible. Before this figure even arrives on the scene, the world is described as experiencing tremendous turmoil. Honest people are questioned, corrupt people are praised, and morality is in a steep decline. This chaotic psychological environment perfectly sets the stage. I mean, when people are desperately searching for solutions, for stability, security, and prosperity, they become incredibly vulnerable. They're basically waiting for a savior to suddenly appear and promise them unprecedented peace. And then, according to the tradition, a man actually does appear. He performs astonishing, seemingly impossible feats. He literally commands the sky to rain and the earth to produce crops. He appears to possess powers that are totally beyond human understanding. And because of this, millions begin following him. Entire nations submit to him. But here is the terrifying reality that the sources highlight. He is not a savior. So let's dive into this. Who exactly is Dajjal, and why is his arrival considered the ultimate test of humanity? Section 1. The Greatest Deceiver. The linguistic root of his name reveals everything you need to know. Dajjal is an Arabic term that translates to the great deceiver, or the one who covers truth with falsehood. His entire mission is built on deception. It's absolutely crucial to understand that his primary weapon is not brute military force. Instead, it's manipulation. It's lies, persuasion, and false promises. He covers what is true with an extremely convincing layer of falsehood. The theological weight of this prophecy is massive. Prophet Muhammad stated, "There has never been a greater trial from the creation of Adam until the day of judgment than Dajjal." Think about that for a second. Humanity has faced world wars, pandemics, natural disasters, massive empires, you name it. Yet this specific trial is described as greater than all of them combined. Why? Because every single prophet in the Islamic tradition, from Noah to Moses and finally Muhammad, warns their people about him. He attacks the very foundation of human existence, which is faith itself. Section 2. A world ready for deception. Let's look at the societal and psychological conditions that make humanity so incredibly vulnerable to this. If we compare the control methods of ordinary tyrants to Dajjal, the difference is completely stark. Ordinary tyrants use force, violence, and fear as their primary tools, right? And as a result, they're resented and feared by the public. But Dajjal? His primary tools are persuasion, food, and wealth. Because he offers immediate solutions to desperate, starving populations, the public reaction is totally different. He's admired, loved, and willingly followed. He convinces people he is the solution, and that is exactly what makes him uniquely dangerous. The Islamic narrations even provide a highly specific physical dossier for him. He's described as a strongly built young man with thick, curly hair. One of his eyes will be defective, and the texts actually compare it to a swollen grape. But most importantly, right between his eyes will be written the word kafir, meaning disbeliever. According to authentic narrations, true believers will instantly recognize this mark as a divine warning. It exposes his true nature, regardless of whether that person can actually read or not. Section 3. The False Miracles. Now we reach the real core of his deception. What desperate people think they're seeing is a divine power commanding clouds to rain, barren land to produce crops, and distributing endless wealth. But what is actually happening? It's the ultimate divine test of humanity's faith and our vulnerability to deception. According to the texts, Allah allows him to perform these astonishing acts simply to see who will mistake power for divinity. It's a profound, incredibly powerful illusion. And this illusion rapidly builds into global control. The psychological mechanics of his movement follow a very clear three-step playbook. Step 1. He exploits human fear, desire, and mass hunger. Step 2. To those starving, desperate populations, he offers false security, food, and vast wealth. And Step 3. By presenting himself as the ultimate solution, he gains rapid, widespread global submission. People don't just submit, they willingly hand over their allegiance. His movement literally grows faster than any empire in history.
But for those who manage to see through the deception, the situation is absolutely dire. The believers' struggle is intense. Families will be divided, communities will split apart, and faith is severely tested. The social and personal pressure to just conform, to accept the food and the wealth and just follow the crowd will be immense. Distinguishing truth from falsehood becomes this daily, exhausting survival struggle.
So the crucial question is, how do the source texts say anyone survives this? Well, the ultimate defense taught by Prophet Muhammad involves seeking knowledge, exercising immense patience, and specifically reciting Surah Al-Kahf. This specific chapter of the Quran is cited as a primary shield because it contains profound, timeless lessons about faith, enduring trials, the illusion of wealth and power, and how to navigate deception. Section 4, the final confrontation. Just when it seems like falsehood has completely won out, a miraculous turning point occurs. As the texts describe, the heavens open, and Isa ibn Maryam, who is known in English as Jesus, son of Mary, descends by divine command. This marks one of the absolute greatest signs of the end times in Islamic theology. His return brings an immediate surge of hope to the united believers and signals the beginning of the end for Dajjal's empire. For the first time, the deceiver faces someone he absolutely cannot overpower. The moment Dajjal sees Isa, he knows his end has arrived. According to the narrations, the false messiah who fooled millions attempts to flee, but justice is inescapable. Truth meets falsehood, and truth prevails forever. His reign of deception is permanently destroyed, bringing the greatest trial in human history to a definitive, resounding close. Section 5, a timeless warning. You know, many people think this story is purely about some distant future event, but deception doesn't begin with Dajjal. It exists right now, in every single generation. The source material serves as a really potent, timeless warning against modern misinformation, cults of personality, and our own human tendency to judge truth just by mere appearances. So how do we actually apply this today? Here are the modern defenses against deception, drawn directly from these ancient lessons. First, think critically and verify information. Don't just accept what's handed to you. Second, do not mistake power or wealth for righteousness. Third, avoid judging solely by appearances, because let's face it, the greatest lies often look incredibly attractive. Fourth, do not mistake massive popularity for wisdom. Just because millions of people follow something doesn't make it true. And finally, remain fiercely connected to your core values and faith. The story of Dajjal is a powerful reminder that the greatest battles aren't actually fought with weapons on a physical battlefield, they're fought within the hearts and minds of humanity. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. In a world where truth and falsehood are constantly blurred, where false information spreads instantly and desperate people are seeking easy answers, how easily might you be deceived? Take a moment to really reflect on that. Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep seeking the truth.